What's up, everyone? This is DYANAROZAY. Welcome to my channel. Y'all saw the thumbnail, so you know exactly why you're here. This is a commentary and review for season 6b, episode 18. It was called Melody versus Marsau, round 5. Okay, this is season 6. Literally, Marsau and Melody has had a one-on-one every single season except for one. So they had one tonight in tonight's episode, and they did not disappoint. You guys hit the like, subscribe, and your notification bell. Also, share this video because that is how others find me here on YouTube. And y'all already know I appreciate every single one of you for rocking with me. Last week, I had my sister Clone on to help me with the review, and it was extremely well received. So I brought her on again tonight. What's up, Miss Clone?
Hey, hey, hey.
Hey, hey, hey. Y'all see it, okay? That is Nell Fletcher. That's her Abby. Nell was an absolute star in this episode. So I told her, why don't we honor Miss Nell by putting her picture up? I think that's going to be a cool thing to do, to maybe put like a picture of someone who was like a star of the show. So, of course, Melody is always the star of the show, but someone else that is outside of that. And tonight, I really enjoyed Nell's scenes, because typically it takes a long time for people to, have like, some cohesive, interaction on the show. And Nell is like getting it together. Okay. Even though she's been on the show for a while, usually her scenes are only with Melody. This time I thought she did a fantastic job when she was talking to Tisha and everybody else. We'll talk about it a little more. Okay, but let's jump right into the scene. Oops, first I should ask, my bad. What did you rate this episode on a scale of 1 to 10?
I gave it a solid 8.
A solid 8. Okay. I'm
Mhm.
going to give this episode a 15 out of 10. Okay, we're going to go over the 10 marker. And that
Hmm.
is because Melody had said at the very beginning, before the show even previewed, before 6B even previewed, that this season was very reminiscent of season 1, that people are going to love it. And I have to say, they did a fantastic job of bringing this show back to a place that the audience recognize, even though there are some changes, okay? Even though there were a few changes with some things that we got a chance to see some people kind of break out of shells. I appreciate it. We are getting the classic cast. People are being true to themselves to an extent, okay? But we're going to get into all of that. Hopefully, y'all understand what I mean when I bring it up, a little further in these scenes. Let's get started. It picks up exactly where it left off. Tiffany's Sip and See. This is a place where they had all the waffles up and ready, but absolutely no decorations. Okay. They're saying a prayer over baby Ace, who is absolutely beautiful. He is such a beautiful baby. It
She
is
is.
crazy that the baby,
Mhm.
it's a boy. Did you say she?
Mhm.
Okay.
No, he is, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, he's a boy. He is a beautiful baby. But they do a prayer over the baby, and all of the ladies are present in the beginning. Melody, Nell Fletcher, Kimmy, Stormy. The only two is Tisha and Kiki. Those are the two that are missing. Okay, but Tisha ends up walking in the door, baby, and that's when the fireworks start. When Tisha walks in, would you agree?
I would agree, yes.
You would agree. So even though I don't have Tisha in this picture, I'm going to put these ladies up. So Tisha walks in the door. She's happy. Okay. She's smiling. She's, sees everybody. She acknowledges everyone. She, says hello to everybody. And, Tisha, I think last episode said, I don't know if I'm going to this shower or to this sip and see. I need a break from these women. That's how she starts her conversation with both Kimmy, with her husband. She's like, I need a break. I don't know if I'm coming. But when she gets there, she, puts on a happy face and she says hello to everybody. She comes in, she hugs everybody. But she is picking up some negative energy and a vibe. And y'all remember last episode, they were all talking about the Black Expo and how horrible it was. Stormy was like, I should have been in the front row instead of on the stage. Tiffany was like, well, I was in the, Nell said she wasn't even invited, even though they told her she was going to be invited. everybody had a problem. Kimmy was talking about how the money wasn't right. So when Tisha walks in the door, she's like, somebody's been talking about me. She can feel it. You know something's off.
Yeah.
So she comes in and she hugs Stormy. Stormy's sitting in her chair. I don't even think Stormy stood up a little bit to meet Tisha.
Mm-mm.
And Tisha says in her confessional, I don't know what the is wrong with Stormy, but she and I had a conversation off screen after everything went down in that filming when she and I had lunch and we went at each other and I stormed off. She and I talked and we laughed at the end of that conversation. We were fine, but her vibe is off. And this is a sometimey bitch. And I don't know if I can deal with her on a regular basis. Okay? And I sat there like, what? Who is this Tisha? Because I'm going to tell
Mm-hmm.
you, the one thing Tisha does not do, at least that I haven't seen her do season after season after season, Tisha makes herself into a victim. She will whine, she will cry to everybody. Her husband, her man, to her mama, to Kimmy, and everybody will just run in to protect Tisha. Whether Tisha is wrong as two left shoes or not, they will run in to protect her because that's how she trained them to be. But this time we get to see her say, I don't know what's going on with Stormy. And this is significant because I would think that Tisha would rather keep Stormy in her pocket as a friend and not let the audience know that she has a problem with her, especially since her and Melody still aren't on good footing. And if she can have that one in a hole to, use when she needs, and
Mm-hmm. Leverage. Yep.
yep, as leverage, instead of
Mm-hmm.
putting it here that I don't know how I feel about you,
Mm-hmm.
that shocked me and surprised me.
Mm-hmm.
That surprised the hell out of me. In fact, I was like, not Tisha talking about Stormy in the confessional.
Mm.
What is happening here? It shocked me. Anyway,
Yeah.
it sounds like you got something to say, girl. Go ahead.
I thought that part was great. That for me that was wonderful. I thought it revealed a couple of things. One, it made Stormy seem like she was two-faced, right? Like she was trying to give this image to the public of one thing, but behind closed doors, something completely different.
Show and
That's
let me stop you right there and just say this. When Stormy first showed up on the scene, the way Stormy used to say, "I'm a real one." Her and I like Destiny because she's a real one. She and I are the same people. I was like, "Ooh, this makes Stormy look two faced as fuck." And
mhm,
and one of the things for me, I don't know about anybody else in the audience, but one of the things for me that I have wrestled with Stormy is that she appeared to flip flop on small things, like things that shouldn't even be. Just like in last episode when Melody came in and said, "Hey, Stormy," and she said nothing. I was like, "Who
mhm,
is this person?" Because she's talking to you. 2 seconds later, you're talking to her. So what is this about? It just makes you
right.
look childish, like everybody had been saying. This is coming off childish. But go ahead.
Yes, it's coming off childish, but I thought the other thing that was pretty significant here, if everybody remembers in the last season when they had the tea party
Mhm.
and they were all sitting around the table and Stormy's mother made the comment to Melody that she didn't like her because she felt that she wasn't controlling the fans on social media.
Mhm.
She felt that, Melody was acting one way to their faces, but another way to the fans to make the
Yeah,
fans believe that, they didn't get along. And
she
I
knew
I felt
something.
that Stormy, yeah, is playing into that role here. And I thought that was super ironic.
Right, because Stormy was okay with making the audience think that
Right.
she had a problem with Tisha, and Tisha blew her ass out the water and said, "That woman was cool when I talked to her on the phone."
Right.
And so she did exactly what her mama, Betty, accused Melody of doing.
Correct.
Right? Okay,
Yeah.
girl, look at you with a point. Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
I thought that was pretty funny.
When Tisha said that, I was like, who the hell is this? Who is this Tisha? Okay, that was the first thing that she did. The second thing she did is she straight point blank asked, What was y'all talking about before I got here? Were you always this quiet? Or what happened? Because the energy is off at this table and I can feel it. And I'm not going to walk up out of here thinking that I did something to y'all when I just walked in the door. And
Mhm.
when Kimmy said, yeah, we were talking. I think Nell said, yeah, we were talking. And then they were like, and that's when Kimmy said, we were talking about the Black Expo. And Tisha said, oh, well, in that case, y'all can continue to shut the fuck up
Mhm.
because I don't hear anything about the Black Expo. I'm done with it.
Mhm.
But Nell, our girl Nell, okay, said, well, I still, I brought it up to the ladies that you didn't invite me, even though you said to me to my face that you would at Mariah's birthday party. And I thought we was cool, whatever. Even though you and I discussed it at lunch with Marsau and my husband, I shared that with the ladies. And then Stormy had the conversation about the money. So she brought that up. And Tisha was sitting there like, what the fuck is happening? But Nell and Tisha got into it. Okay. They got into it. And Tisha was basically like, I hear what you have to say, but ain't nothing changing over here. I truly don't give
Mhm. Right.
you are complaining about some shit that can't be changed. You aren't going to get, there's no redos here. It's not like we can go back in time for you to be invited to this party. It ain't going to happen. And Nell handled her business. She was like, your attitude stinks. Okay? Your
Mhm.
attitude, we talking, and all it is a conversation, Tisha, but you're not open to anything. So I'm going to let you know, tell you about yourself in this moment. You still full of shit. And when she was talking, and I'm telling y'all right now, this was a different Tisha, so much so. Now, I don't know if the rest of the ladies are aware of Tisha, off camera, because sometimes people can have an on camera persona and an off camera persona. But Tisha's on camera persona was absolutely so different that she had Mel literally waving her arms like, what am I listening to right now? Like, whoa, this shit is not happening. It was
Right.
it was happening. Tisha, I don't know if it was the distance between her and Marceau that made her have to put on her big girl drawers and take care of her own business. If it was the
Mhm.
distance between her and Kimmy, because Kimmy has said that her and Tisha has never been able to get their sister-in-law relationship back on track after season 1. She even asked Carlos King to please kill the storyline with all the anger and animosity and all that stuff between her and Tisha, because she said, I have lost my family. I don't know if I'm even going to be able to stay married. I can't do this storyline again this season. So they had to kill the storyline in season 4 in order for her and Tisha to try to recoup some things, try to rebuild some things. But in this scene, Melody starts waving her arms back and forth like, you lying. I know you lying, okay? Did. And then to make matters worse, because Nell was like, you got a lot of fucking energy for me. I apologize for cursing, y'all. It's late. It's just coming out, okay? But Nell was like, you got a lot of energy for me, and I'm just having a conversation with you. Like, I don't even know where this is coming from. And Kimmy ends up taking the heat and said, Tisha, I was the one who asked, I was the one who told you what was going on. It wasn't, that Neil was talking about you angrily. And Tisha frowned her face up and said, well, bitch, stop being messy then. Okay. You're being messy and you should stop. And I was like, girl, this is the Tisha that everybody has been talking about. Like, this is the one that needs to show up. Okay. Not
Mm.
that stupid Tisha that we saw either in, what was that, the Galentine's stuff? Because we knew that Galentine's madness was all a put on. This was something different. This was Tisha standing up for Tisha Sell, even if she was wrong as two left shoes, because at the end of the day, where did that damn money go? But y'all know Kimmy is used to interjecting herself in between Tisha and any of Tisha's arguments. Any of them. She's always the middle person trying to, I guess, bring peace or mend fences or tell people you're wrong, let Tisha be right. Tisha said, I don't need your help either. So shut the F up, okay? But Kimmy's still very much playing that role. Anyway, I enjoyed every minute of that conversation in this part. It was amazing to me. I was sitting winding rewinding, playing it again, like I don't want to miss a thing. If y'all didn't see it, please go and watch it. This scene alone, this entire baby shower scene, or excuse me, baby shower, this entire sip and see was probably the best part of the show. Okay, I loved it. Anywho, do you want to add anything to this part of the conversation?
No, I think you pretty much nailed it. I don't think there's a whole lot that I can add to it. Yep, that's good.
Okay. So the next part we go to the ladies all go and sit around. Like this conversation was so good. Even Tiffany was like, usually, she's like, I would be over there if I didn't have the baby. I would be over there talking to them because Tiffany was like, what the hell is going on over there? Why are they
Right.
this Black Expo at my sip and see, girl, because some things need to get off of people's chests. But they took the little girls group onto the next side. Okay, they go over, they get a table, and they end up talking about, still about the Black Expo. Tisha's not having it. Tisha does not want to hear it. She's not open to it. They were like, Kiki isn't here. They mentioned that Kiki wasn't there. And I think, who was it that said, I'm surprised Kiki isn't here? I think first Tisha said, I'm not surprised that Kiki isn't here. This is what she do. Okay. She put that out there. She'll tell you she gonna do something or go somewhere and then she won't. And so Tisha said, it is what it is with Kiki. I could care less.
Hmm.
But Melody
It
was
was
like,
Mel said that she was surprised that she wasn't here and she
I'm
was
surprised.
concerned.
Yeah,
Hmm.
Mel said, "I'm surprised and I'm concerned." Thank you. She was like, "I'm surprised and concerned that she isn't," because she had a conversation with her off on the side, and she said she seemed receptive to coming. So she actually showed concern. Again, the things that we were lacking in season one. I don't care if there is somebody that doesn't like someone. There needs to be someone who's like, listen. There might be something really wrong. I'm going to show concern. Plus, the fact everybody at this point knows that Kiki has been hit with a whirlwind of things, right? She has the back pain. She's back in the hospital. Everybody's probably thinking one way and not being really for sure, just trying to, stay open minded and say, we hope that everything's going well. And you know damn well that everybody here is aware of the video, the Crime Stoppers video, right? So Melody says, I'm concerned. And then they move on. That's when we get the conversation about the money and the Black Expo again. Now Tisha feels attacked. And I'm not going to say that she wasn't. She was being attacked in the scene.
Yeah, they
People
were
are
pretty strong.
people are asking questions. We just want to know what happened. I think it was Nell who brought it up. You told us at the lunch table when we had lunch that you didn't make any money. And Tisha's like, you weren't even there. What dog do you have in this fight, Nell?
Right.
That's why I said Nell's the breakout because Nell was like, I'm getting this party started. All of y'all have been afraid to talk to each other because y'all have had such black blood with each other for a very long time. So I'm gonna be the one to bring. And when Tiffany attempted to be that person, Tiffany got beat down into the ground, beat down because nobody wanted to hear from Tiffany. But Nell said, I volunteer. Child, what happened to that damn money that you collected, child? Okay, you told us at lunch that you didn't collect any money. That you and Marsau footed the entire thing. And Stormy said a little while ago that you took $100 from her, and then Kimmy said, and you took $100 from me and Maurice, and I didn't even know you took that $100. Maurice told me after the fact. And Tisha said, wait a minute. I got to get away from here. This is some bullshit. So Tisha stood up out of her seat. She walks away from the table. Stormy goes and brings her back. She said she's always running away from things. I was like, Stormy, nobody needed you to do that. You know what I'm saying? But Stormy was the person who brought it back to the table. But Tisha decided to come back again and put her big draws on. And even if she didn't answer the question, she was still present for the
Hmm.
conversation. And that was, again, different from Tisha. Because Tisha will walk out and start crying and call her mama, call her husband, and that's it. But Tisha stood there. She did not cry. She let Nell come for her, and she was like, okay. And so, and what? Now, she was being condescending as hell, but she still did the scene. And I thought
Mhm.
it was much different from what we saw seasons one through today.
Today.
One today, okay? This Tisha has not stood up or stood in it, okay? Even if
Mhm.
she answered it, she stood in it and said, I realize I'm being attacked, okay?
Mhm.
When Kimmy says, I don't want you to feel attacked, but I do think that there's room for constructive criticism, and perhaps we can meet at a later time and have a discussion about
Mhm.
things because we would like to see things get better for next year, right?
Mhm.
Uh, and that's when Stormy pipes in. Stormy says, in this moment,
Right.
not a big sigh. Stormy said, you and I don't have a problem, because you and I talked. Well, if you and her talked, so now Stormy's saying that she talked, even though Tisha was like, I'm getting negative vibes from Stormy. Stormy says
Mhm.
she talked. And I don't have a problem with you. I have a problem with your husband because he acting like a bitch. He acting
Right.
like a lady. What else did she say? She called him three things. He
She
acting
called him
like,
a lady.
she said
Oh
she
gosh.
like a woman.
Mhm.
He acted like a bitch. She said all three, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Oh Lord.
She kept saying it, and everybody at the table kept looking over at her like, "What?
What?
Are you really saying this to his wife?" Yes.
Right. When she said it the first time, everybody just stops and gives like these big eyes, like, bitch, what? Then the,
Right.
then the second time she was like, well, he acts like a lady. And she was like, he does not act like a lady. He's just very vocal. And then she was like, well, he acts like a bitch. Like she kept
Right.
Marsau every time she could catch a breath. And by that
Right.
when they realized Tisha wasn't gonna say anything, they just was like cracking up at this point. They was just like, "Oh shit, not a bitch." And then it just became the running theme, like the joke for the night. Melody was like, "Maybe he could come sit with the ladies, right?"
Mhm.
We said, "All he needs is a wig. He could come over here," and they just all cracked up. They erupt into laughter. That is how the scene ends. This is why I gave the episode a 15 because for the first time in a very long time we had all the women sit collectively and talk. Well, I should also say this because I left this part out of the scene. When Stormy said that he's acting like a lady or a bitch, and Tisha, you and I could stay be cool. It's your husband who pipes in and makes things bad for our interaction. And Melody said,
Mhm.
"I I agree with that, and I believe that he's done that with you and I as well, Tisha." She was like, I have things that I'm going to address with Marceau because Mel and I, or Nell has told me some things that was discussed at y'all lunch. So I'm going to address it with him, not with you. And
Mhm.
he said, Marceau is grown. He can definitely handle it. I'm staying out of it. And Melody said, that's right. You stay out of it. So
Right.
that scene, if I don't know if people paid attention, but that was an integral part of what we are expecting to see moving forward if this show has literally gotten itself back on track. Number one, for Tisha to say that's Marceau shit. It's not mine, and I'm not going to take it on. I'm out the house now, ladies. I get to travel. I get to go to the mailbox by myself. There's a
Mhm.
lot of things that I get to do out here in the real world, and
Mhm.
I realize that Marceau had been injecting or interjecting himself into my business in ways that he shouldn't have. So I get it. Y'all have a problem with Marceau, and now y'all want the meeting with Marceau. So I'll let y'all take it. I'll let y'all take it. And that's how the scene ends. And what was your thoughts about anything in the scene that I may have missed?
No, I thought it was great. I love that that Stormy said it 3 times.
Marceau is a bitch.
Just
That
in
he
case she didn't hear it the first 2, she had to chime in the second and the third. So, and then I
was
love that at the end that Mel was just like, well, I might as well just piggyback right on off of this. It was like, well, I also have a problem. It's
When
like,
she
that's
first,
great.
Melody had her eyes open like, what? And then
Yes.
and Tiffany has gotten such a bad rap for not reading the room and for saying things out of pocket that when she heard Stormy called Marsau a bitch, she stopped and then she laughed so hard she damn near hit her head on the wall. She was like, "You got to be kidding me!" I
Right.
I loved it. I
It
loved
was
it.
great. They even had like a little confessional with Nail where she came on and said, "Look, Tiffany's calling her husband a bitch, and I've got to be honest with you. If it was me, I would have a
Yes.
problem with it."
Said Stormy, the way Stormy called Tisha's husband a bitch, she said, "You tried to do that to Chris, I would shade the hell out of you. Like you
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't know the sun from the moon, okay?"
Right.
But it was awesome. It was awesome. Okay. Next scene was Kimmy and Maurice. Now, this was definitely just pandering to the audience, so much
Yep.
so that Maurice broke character. Okay. Uh, this was a scene that was supposed to set up something else, I'm sure. But Kimmy comes in, she lets them know. First of all, they go into their, I guess it's some sort of business incubator. So they're supposed to be building offices that people can rent. I think that's what they said before. So it's Maurice's credit repair, but then they also are supposed to have I think their title company. They have a title company, and people will also be able to rent space. If I'm not mistaken, that was the idea for it.
Mm.
One of the Scott brothers, Micah, is I think he was supposed to be the supervisor overseeing all of the build out. Kimmy said they're already a month behind and they are nowhere near being finished. And she said, he told her, I'm going to get it done in 11 days. And that's how that scene ends part. So he walks away. Then Kimmy basically lets Maurice know your brother got his ass handed to him at the dinner that we had with the girls at the sip and see. And Maurice seems bothered, right?
Yeah, I
Why are
was a
y'all
little confused by this scene.
okay? So Maurice seems bothered. She's like, well, they have a problem with the money. He's like, why are y'all even talking about, my brother and what's going on with the money and blah, 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 blah. And she's like, listen, your brother told Nell Fletcher that he took care of all the expenses, that he didn't collect anything. And he was like, did Nell tell you this or did Marsau tell you this? Because I'm not going to take any hearsay say information. I believe my brother first. Me and my brother and the whole entire, okay, Scott
Mm.
family gang gang. And if you want to stay a part of the Scotts,
Gang,
you're gonna
gang.
you'll have to be gang gang too. Stop coming to me with other people's business. I don't give a shit what they think. I'm going to talk for Maurice here because that's the energy he was giving to Kimmy. And Kimmy said,
Hmm.
"Now we were all at the table, including Tisha, and Tisha did not dispute this conversation." And he goes, "Oh, well, I guess I'll have to talk to Marsau. Okay, it's not the first thing on my list, though. That's basically what he's letting her know." And then she
Hmm.
said, "And that's not all. Uh, apparently he's out here shading people's businesses. He had things to say about Melody's t-shirt business and how he didn't respect it." And
Hmm.
then Maurice doubles over laughing. Oh, 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 yeah, he can be an asshole. And
Hmm.
she's like, "You shouldn't laugh. You shouldn't laugh because you're encouraging him to be the same person." And that's pretty much how it ends. She's like, he constantly comes for the women. He's come for Kiki, Tiffany, anybody you can think of. He's come for, including Kimmy. And she was like, we're just tired, and there's going to be conversations had. And that's how the scene ends. I don't remember anything else. Do you remember?
No, there wasn't much more to it. I mean, the name of this scene should have been "Ain't Nothing Changed" because there hasn't been a scene that we've ever seen with Marceau where he hasn't shaded someone else.
Right.
That's his MO. That's just the way he operates. So, not
This
quite
was
sure why this was shocking to Maurice, but okay.
it wasn't shocking, again, the scene felt like it was more pandering to the audience. Like,
Yeah.
have the two of you say some things that's going to make the audience think that you're for the right instead of the wrong, but we all know you for the wrong. Okay, That's what it felt like to me. Anyway,
They're standing on the other side of the line of demarcation. That's what I heard her say.
that's
But
what
go
I
ahead.
heard too. So the next scene, hold on. Okay. Oops, I actually deleted something, but that's fine. We'll go here. So this is Nell, Fletcher, and Melody. Melody meets Nell at her daycare because she told her that she wanted to talk to her. And they rehash what happened at the sip and see. And there was all kinds of revelations being had here. Melody sits down, asks her for her, what did you think about what happened? She was like, there was all kinds of stuff going down at that sip and see. And she was like, well, you held your own basically with Tisha. You said what you needed to say. And Nell was like, I ain't gonna back my tongue for that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been in this community doing it for a very long time. We've had this business for over 30 years. It is literally right around the corner from Tisha and Marsau. For them to sit on that, camera or on that stage or wherever they're sitting and try to pretend like the Fletchers ain't been out here doing it and paving a way is a problem for me. But she said that's not the only problem she had. Melody was like, well, yeah, don't you, support them in their cigar bar, the business? Aren't you buying cases of wine,
Mhm.
bottle? But cases, she was like, listen, me and Fletcher up there so much, we got our own seat at the bar. Like when we walk in, people are like, the way they used to do on Cheers. What's up, Fletch? What's up, Neil? She said, we're always up there. She said, the problem is, I don't think Tisha knows that we're up there. And she owns 85% of the business.
Right.
So
Mm.
now they are talking. And again,
Mhm.
this is one of the reasons I gave this episode a 15 because I think there was a season or two where Melody said, I'm not going to talk about anybody's business. I'm just going to stay out of it and stay in my space. But the problem with that is it doesn't get conversations had where the audience feel like they're part of things. The reason why there's so much shit being made up, conversations being had off the show, online on social media, is because we're
Mhm.
not getting it directly from the show.
Right, right.
And so
Exactly.
Melody sitting in the scene and saying, I don't go to that bar at all, but I know that you buy cases of that damn wine is significant. Nell saying, because we would have been like, well, why is it? A lot of people would have thought Nell is a busybody, right? You're a busybody. Why are
Mhm.
you having these conversations about Tisha? Well, because I'm up there at that damn bar all the time. Because my actual daycare business is around the corner from the house they live in. We've been in this community for well over 30 years, or whatever the many years she said, forever. But the businesses have been there for over 30 years. And for Marceau to act like we just met each other yesterday, we're friends of Melody and Martell, is BS. And I was like, this is the conversation we need to hear. Because last week I told y'all the reason why Marceau did not want the Fletchers on that stage is because they would have made his ass look bad. Okay. Because they
Mhm.
are business people. He didn't even know what a venture capitalist was. Okay. Whatever that gentleman asked him in the audience, he was like, oh, what are you talking about? Tech, big tech. And you got Tiffany in the audience smirking like, this motherfucker's stupid. Like he don't know nothing. That's significant. He can put Tiffany in the audience because he knows that she's smart. Okay. He can leave
Mm.
the lecturers off the stage because he knows they're smart. He puts Stormy on because he thinks, well, she just knows hair care products. And what did he tell Melody that he doesn't do? He doesn't do
E-commerce,
e-
e-com.
yeah, so he thinks,
Mhm.
well, Stormy's e-commerce, and basically it's a business I don't respect because that's what he told Melody.
Which is
So
the dumbest thing you could possibly say, but yes.
facts. And he don't respect his brother and his and Kimmy. So y'all can sit up here too. But at the end of the day, Tisha and Marceau wanted to be the king and queen of that platform, period. And if they would have had people in the audience asking the Fletchers questions and the Fletchers would have been like giving off answers to let people know they know some things, they would have felt small. And they didn't want to feel small, period. So anywho, these two start talking, girl talk, the way we would talk to each other. Do you know this bitch own 85% of the company? And she had no idea that I go up there damn near every weekend or every other day or whatever the case may be. And Melody was like, uh-huh, uh-huh. And she was like, now, would you do that? She went, honey, if I owned a company with my husband, I'm 50-50. I'm going to know everything. Melody said, when Martell and I were together and we had Holt and Holt, I knew everything that came into that business. He wasn't going
Mm-hmm.
to get anything past me. Okay?
Right. Right.
We're partners in that business. And I was like, well, damn. Now, this makes Tisha look bad because they do a flashback where Nell is at the table with Tisha and she said, how much of the business do you own? And she said, I own 50%. We're 50-50 partners. And she said, how much do you own? She said 85%. She said, you own 85% and you got kicked out of your own company. Now
Mm-hmm.
that's the reason why was barking back at Nell right there, because Nell let her ass have it. You own 85% and you got kicked out of your own company. Now they didn't show us that in that actual episode, but they showed us a flashback saying that it happened. And I was
Right.
like,
You're a puppet.
you're a puppet. And then Melody went further and said, you're damn right she's a puppet. Because when we had the business, we understand that those government contracts, they basically will, what's the word? Favor the minority business. So Tisha is on as 85% as a woman so that Marsau can get those business deal. Because at the end of the day, if Tisha's 85% owner and Marsau only has 15%, and he just brought in another partner,
Mm-hmm.
they 7.5%.
Right.
They
Wh-
laughed so hard. Melody almost fell out of that damn that little child stool she was sitting in.
That was another reason why I kind of felt that the irony just was bookend here from the beginning to end, because
It was
basically saying that you basically say in the last scene that you don't respect or have, you don't care about the e-commerce business, right? It's a
Marsau.
lady thing and I don't care about lady things. That's what I
Right,
heard. May not have
right.
been what he said, but that's exactly what he was trying to say or what he
I
was
don't care
implying.
about products. I don't care about
Right. I
any
don't
business
care about any of that.
product. I only care about things where you have to use your hands.
Right.
Those hips. Listen, you get yourself together. You get yourself together. Hips like that, you definitely got some
Oh
estrogen.
my goodness, cut it
That's
out.
a place. You
Okay.
learn those products. Okay?
But I felt that it was ironic that she points out that she believes that it's because he's using it as a woman's business so that they could get the kickback, which I thought was very ironic that you don't respect women's businesses, however, you're using it to your advantage.
Yep.
In more than one way, because obviously you also own a t-shirt business
You
and a
own
hair care business.
Yep. You're right. Why don't I have Kiki up here? I didn't do a picture with Kiki for some odd reason. So we're just
Mhm.
gonna talk about Kiki because I don't have her picture up. It was her and her husband, right? Oh, is there anything else in this scene that happened? Oh yeah, let me say this too. Because then after they do that conversation where Melody busts him out several times, busts out the fact Tisha's not a real partner in the business, bust out the fact that Marsau is using Tisha to get contracts, and it is a grimy part of the game. And then she busted out the fact because Mel said, "Well, I think they might have made a lot of money at the expo." And Melly said, "Be careful with that. They like to pretend like they got money, but they don't." Okay, she said they had some sort of GoFundMe or fundraiser where they were asking people to donate toward the home of someone who, a less fortunate individual in the community. And she said they were asking for 150,000 to get this home built, and she said they only got about $300 after being up for about 3 weeks, 4 weeks. They were nowhere near close to their goal. And Mel attempted to go on her phone to show Nell what she was talking about. And she said, "Oh shoot, I forgot. I got them blocked, and so I can't see their stuff. They can't see me." And Nell said, "Well, I thought you and Tisha was rebuilding a friendship." And she said, "Well, yeah." She went, "Ain't no way in hell you're trying to rebuild a friendship if you got each other blocked." Mel said, "I got a lot of people blocked, and I'm not going to look for Tisha's name specifically to unblock her." And Nell said, "Well, then you're not serious about being friends then." She said, "She's your friend of me." period.
Mhm.
Okay with being cordial and keeping her
Mhm.
at a distance because you don't trust her. And
Right.
Mel smiled like, well, I don't even have a comeback. What's your feelings about Tisha? And Nell said the same thing. She said, I don't think me and Tisha are ever gonna have a real relationship. And I'm okay with that. And
Mhm.
I'm like, damn. Okay.
Right. Right.
That was significant. But yeah, did you see anything else in the scene that you wanted to talk about?
No, I was really looking for the ironic parts, but go ahead.
The ironic part. Okay, and
Yes.
that's pretty much it. The next scene actually dealt with Kiki and her husband, and I apologize that I do not have a picture for her. But it was a short scene. Kiki, they're at home, her husband's making dinner, and Kiki said that she is upset because she had gotten sick again, so sick, she had to call 911 for herself and to get to the hospital, okay? And she said she has no idea what's wrong with her. She is now seeking a gastroenterologist, I believe she said,
Mhm.
and I forgot the other doctor, but it sounds like they think there might be some problems with her stomach. And her husband is like, "You're not taking care of yourself either, and you're still on the methadone." And she was like, "It's not the methadone." And he said, "I can guarantee you that whatever they diagnose you with, that's going to be part of it, right?" And she said that right now she's just upset with the fact that she's not healthy. She's not in a place where she can go out and do things because everybody is thinking that she relapsed. And she's pissed that she can't be who she needs to be in life. And her husband said, "Anybody, if anybody knew you for real, they'd know that you would never miss an opportunity to, go to an event or be, someplace. However, Kiki, you're not taking care of yourself. You're eating the wrong foods. It probably is
Mhm.
your stomach, and you need to, get off the methadone," is what he's saying.
Mhm.
He also said that he knows that she hasn't relapsed because he has, through the years learned the signs that she speaks a different way. She looks a different way. There's certain things that she does that's telltale signs for him. And he said that he does not see that in her right now, but he does know that he's concerned with her. So you can see some challenges in their relationship because Kiki's saying that her husband's not giving her the benefit of the doubt when she needs him to, that sometimes he can be, one of them strangers in the street accusing her of things and,
Mhm.
making her feel bad about where she is at this point in time. And he said, "Well, you're gonna have to cut me some slack." He said, "Between everything you have going on in this house and that damn Crime Stopper video, I'm human. I'm asking questions too." So that's how the scene ends. But anywho, you
Mhm.
want to put anything in there?
No, just that I've never really seen her husband. I know that he's been on before, but I feel
Uh-huh.
like he's not in a whole lot of scenes. So it was really nice to see
I
him
think this is only
participate
the second time. Yeah, he
a
hasn't
second
been.
time.
Yeah, it's only
Mhm.
been Kiki, and when Kiki became a full-time cast member, that's when they brought him in. So
I
this
see.
is really like
Okay.
the first time we got to see him speak and engage. We've not seen him on that level before, so
Okay.
that's the reason why you haven't seen him. So the last scene, child,
Oh,
is I know this is your favorite because you think Marsau is hilarious.
yes.
But the last scene is Melody and Marceau. They have that sit down where Melody is asking him some questions. Marceau come walking up. We get to see Marceau's full body. Marceau said he'd been working out, but he is still bulky
Knock it off.
around the hips. I don't guess you lose hips. Hips is bone, so I guess maybe just spreads out a little bit.
Oh my
But
goodness.
Marceau comes walking through. He sits down and he feels good energy from Melody. He says, "This feels like good energy to me."
No,
He's
he
happy.
doesn't.
What did he
Yeah.
say?
No, he that's what he said, but he doesn't feel it. But go ahead.
Well, he said, "This feels like good energy to me." Okay. Melody's
Right.
like, "Okay." And he was like, "It's good to see you." And she's, doing some small talk, asked him what he wanted to drink. He said, "I want some coffee. How you like your coffee? You want black, baby, no cream, no sugar." Okay.
Right.
You're having a little banter. Melody said, "I'm going to be honest with you. The reason why you're getting good energy mail right now is because I had to make a conscious decision to give you that. I had my tea party, and Miss Carol said we could just have conversations We don't have to be ugly in these scenes, okay? So she went, I hired Miss Carol. I'm going to take some advice from Miss Carol because you, sir, you've always gotten under my skin. You've always made me come out of character. So I'm gonna be my best right now. I'm gonna think before I speak with you. And Marcel said, well, we're not children. I love to hear it. Okay. I love to hear
Mhm.
it because you and I have had some meetings. Okay. Again, this is round 5. You and I have had some meetings where things have gone the wrong way, completely left. So he's like, this is excellent. The coffee's coming out, they're talking. And Melody said something that cracked the hell up out of me. Hold on, let me find it. She said, I had wrote it down just in case. Remember, she said, let's talk about the reasoning. So he was like, well, what
Mhm.
brings us here? What brings us here? Because Melody or he had said when he was walking up, something tells me that Nell Fletcher
Mhm.
turned this conversation into something else. And so I'm
Mhm.
gonna meet with Melody to see what she wants to talk about, but I know this is some bullshit. I don't want to be a part of this, is what he's basically saying. But when he gets there and he
Mhm.
sees Melody's in a good mood, he like, oh, okay, well, this might be a decent conversation. I'm gonna be
Mhm.
honest with you. You can be honest with me. He said, I
Mhm.
said some things, I had my reasons. She was like, well, that's good to know. Let's talk about this reasoning, sir. And then she had crossed that leg. You got to see that red bottom shoe, which was significant because that was a metaphor for her about to turn Marsau's ass into a red bottom. Okay.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
she says to him, let's talk about this reasoning. And he says, what I said was, we were talking about, businesses and products. And I didn't even say your name. And she was like, oh, well, what happened? He was like, what I said was, I'm not paying anyone to speak about a t shirt business. Well, you don't have to say her name. We all know who you're talking about, right? And
Mhm.
so Melody starts laughing. She's like, Marceau, don't play with me. Don't play with me. She was like, why are you coming at me when you know my business acumen? You know who I am. You know how I handle things. And Marceau said, Melody, you have a lot of businesses. It feels like you're trying to see, throw anything against the wall to see what sticks. And I
Mhm.
respect products. I don't respect the product business. And she said, but you're in the product business. You sell products. And he said, but I don't respect it.
Mhm. He
He
just
said,
does it to make money.
I just do it to make money. I don't care about anything else. And
Mhm.
that's when Melody started flailing her hands like she did when she was at the sip and see, baby. She was like, you're kidding. She spun all the way around in her chair like the exorcist. She was like,
Mhm.
Marcel, you are a lie. Okay. You are a lie and a half. Why would you be in a business that you don't respect? And he didn't have an answer. So, he was just like, it's not what I do. I don't give a shit. Basically, there's
Mhm.
things women do. That's what you do. There's things men do. And that's what I do. Right.
Right.
And that's all I can remember at this moment. Do you remember anything that I'm leaving out?
No,
Oh,
but there was so many ironic points. Go ahead.
the just basically the lashing that she gives him, which is the
Mhm.
one that we all saw, where Melody is laughing and crying so hard that she had to adjust her eyelash. And Marcel said, "Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make you cry, Mel. Don't cry. Don't cry." And she said, "Marcel, I'm not crying for your ass, okay? I would never cry for your ass. Just like Tisha's not gonna cry for you when she leaves your ass, okay?" And that's when,
Mhm.
why would you want Tisha to leave me? She said, I don't want Tisha to leave you. I'm not even wishing that on you. I just know that you, sir, cannot keep doing what you're doing, diminishing people where they are in their lives, their accomplishments, and expect for them to stick around, basically. And
Mhm.
Marceau said, so what you're saying is you want me to be a single parent? Because now he's definitely throwing a jab at Melody.
It's a dig. Yep.
She's
Mhm.
throwing a jab. You're a single parent. And so you're wanting me and my wife to be single parents. And
Mhm.
that's when Melody let the chopper fly. Okay. Marcel put his hand over his mouth like this This is the first sign that Marsau is he's not going to say nothing because he has a whole lot of shit going on in his head. And then he claps his hands and he put his hands over his mouth in prayer, while Melody told him, "You have a problem with strong, independent business women. You always have. And that's the one reason why you have always put a wedge in between me and Tisha, because you don't want Tisha to get close enough to me to know her damn worth. Because once she does, she's out." Okay, she's outie five. You know it. I know it. The entire world knows it. You're not going to stop that woman from leaving your ass when she gets ready. She gonna get them dollars up. You don't know. You giving her that 5,000 extra money a month? She probably got it in a bank account just stacking it and waiting for her day. In fact, so many people have told Tisha to leave or to figure out what to do because Marsau is no good. Even Dr. Francis and his wife. Dr. Francis' wife had to pull her aside and say, "Girl, you remind me of myself when I was
Mhm.
young. Get your ass a hobby, get yourself something to do." Because when those kids leave the house and it's just you and Marcel, your whole world is going to turn upside down. But anyways, this is how the scene ends. It is going to be continued, but 15 out of 10 for me. Okay, I enjoyed every single moment. What's your thoughts? You have any closing
So
thoughts?
yes. So this scene for me was 15 out of 10. I thought it was phenomenal.
Okay.
From the point of when you see them both walking up and they walk up separate, right? Mel
Right.
walks up first. She grabs the seat and sits down. She's wearing a casual outfit, right? The t-shirt, the millimeter t-shirt with the army
Or
pants,
army pants, ready for
camouflage, yep, right? And then she's wearing the high heel shoes, right?
yep.
Total opposite from him. He's in a like a button down, shirt with slacks. He's more dressed up, right?
Right.
And the funny thing about it is if you look at the scene and you would just guess who was to have the power, you would think it would be on his side,
You think
just
it'll be
because of what
Marcel?
society tells you,
We can.
right?
Oh,
Should
this is how you know this. You're my sister because we break these scenes down to how they dress.
Yes, the
Girl.
juxtaposition of this entire scene for me
Yes.
was amazing. Like it actually sets up the arc for Tisha and Marsau versus where Melody and Martell were, from season one. It
Yep.
sets up Tisha and Marsau starting season six.
Oh my
So
God.
it's like the exact opposite, like, right? Like they went through hell and high water, right? Or Melody really went through hell and, well, but they both did actually, but
Yes.
because of Martell, Melody went through hell, right? So
Right.
you got to kind of see that all play out, and now
Right.
you're starting to see it on their side. And
Right.
I thought the interesting thing was, I already mentioned the last part about it being ironic that he has, Tisha collecting the kickbacks for the
Yep.
business for being a woman. But I thought the other interesting part was the main business that he has right now has issues, right? It's public that he has these issues that are right. So the one thing that you I guess you respect the most is not respecting you back at the moment because you're being sued for $5 million over it, which
Right.
could mean your business, which could mean that the businesses that you don't respect could be your main form of support.
Right.
I thought I thought it was like a huge slap from beginning to end. It was
Yep.
it was absolutely amazing. And the fact that she basically was like, "Nope, I'm not wishing anything on you, but I'm
Yep.
predicting it pretty
I'm
much
predicting it.
that
I'm.
your marriage is about to fail."
Yep. 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 Everything from the conversation she had with Nell, basically saying this man uses Tisha, leaves her out of things, and when all of this shit come tumbling down, and you and I have had that conversation too. Um, Tisha being so gun ho and protecting the image of what she thinks her marriage is, uh,
Mhm.
people, and this being the first time ever her saying, "You guys, that's your issue with Marceau. I'm not going to fight this because
Mhm.
Marceau hasn't done this for me. Marceau hasn't done this for me, so
Right.
because I don't even know what to fight, I can't do it. I
Mhm.
can't." And you can see it. You could see it in her face when Nell said, "You got kicked out of a business you own 85% of." And when Tisha shrugged her shoulders, like that was a moment for her where she was like, "I can't keep getting attacked like this from uh motherfucker that is living in the house with me, who lays beside.
Mhm.
These are the things. So a lot of people have been assuming that they have been living apart, broken up, not on the same page, right? And now we
Correct.
see Tisha standing up saying, I'm in these scenes with you guys. You're talking about my husband. Take it to my husband. I don't know. I don't know. I
Mhm.
can't fight him for you. But you're
Right.
right. Tisha Marsau, season 6 is the extreme of what we got from Melody and Martell season 1.
Mhm. Season 1, right? Yeah. It's I mean, they should have called this episode like Flip or Opposites,
Yeah,
or something, but it should have been something opposing to it. Now I know it was like round 5, so I guess that is a kind of an opposing factor, but I just thought, I don't know if they did this on purpose, but
yeah,
that spoke volumes for me.
really.
That lit up
Melody in her
like a
armor,
firework.
Marceau showing up in his casual, business casual. Babe,
Right.
everything you said was accurate.
Yeah. And he gets his ass handed to him. And he starts it off. And I've seen men do this. I've seen guys at work do this.
Yeah.
Where they kind of come to the table and they're just repeating themselves. I love it. I love it. They know they're about to get their ass handed to them. And they're praying that they don't. And so they're trying to give you a compliment so that you don't turn it on them, right? Because they know they're wrong. He's
Right.
got he's got no way out of this whole
Right.
thing. So he's got to come clean, and this is what he comes clean with, which is also bad. Do you know
It
what I
is.
mean? Like, seriously, uh, own up to something. That's what a
Yeah.
man really does. That is why you are being called a bitch, because you will do every possible thing that you can to get out of. I
And
mean, you're
just
literally wiggling out of everything that you do. Don't do it. Just be honest for once.
when Marceau had his meeting, when Marceau had the back and forth with Stormy last season, Stormy was fussing at him and you better don't you, checking him, but Marceau was giggling and striking back. I just want to make sure everybody recognizes this. Marceau likes to strike back and giggle when, like, whatever you're saying to me is funny to me because you're just being a woman who is being over the top.
Hmm.
When Marceau had that one-on-one with Stormy's husband, what is his name, Courtney? Same
Mm.
thing. He was giggling. He was sitting there giggling. This is a little much, Courtney. Blah blah blah. Courtney's like, I'm gonna pay your waitress $100. I'm gonna get out of here before I have to whoop your ass. But he was giggling. When anytime Marceau has one-on-ones with Melody, it ends up with him doing this because he cannot get out the
Right.
word because she strikes him in the brain,
Hmm.
whoops Marceau's butt. And that is what makes this scene amazing. So for the
Hmm.
person who got blocked earlier, because I know you're going to be listening and trying to type, talking about I give Mel too much. I pay attention to the scenes, baby. And not everybody does. I pay attention to the scenes. Marceau stops talking when Melody hands him his ass, like you said, okay? He doesn't even do that with the men. He just stops talking because he knows she's right. She's gotten
Hmm.
into it, and that's what makes the scene important. And it's not even that she's lying either. She's telling him pure fact.
Hmm. When she
Yeah.
stops him, even before she starts to say, like, "Oh, you remember when I had my tea party and I decided to take a different approach with you because clearly, I could chop you down in so many ways, but I'm gonna be nice about it." And then he interrupts her for the coffee, and she
Uh-huh.
was like, "They'll bring it out. Like, don't think that this is," you know what I mean? It reminded me of like a child trying to distract you from getting an ass whooping. That's what it
Yeah,
reminded me of.
it is. That's exactly how they do it. She's like,
Yeah.
let's get into this.
Yeah, but
Uh
she's like, they'll bring it out. And she smiled. The way that she smiled at him, like, all right, mofo, that they're coming. Don't worry.
yeah, like a child. Like a child.
Right.
Anywho,
Yeah.
it's to be continued, so it's gonna pick up exactly where it left off. Anywho, I loved it. And you literally cleared the scene. This is your explanation of this scene was perfect. I
Yeah. I
loved it.
couldn't wait for this damn scene. I was so mad that they put it at the end. But yes.
But that is pretty much it. So, you guys, y'all can talk to us in the comments. Let us know what you think. Of course, we will go live to discuss this. And y'all can let us know what y'all think about that too. We'll go live sometime tomorrow, I promise. But outside of that, go ahead, hit that like, subscribe, and your notification bell. Don't forget, also share the video, okay? And we will talk to you guys about, the next review. What's that, next Saturday? You're coming back on next Saturday, aren't you? You are. You don't have the answer. Anyway, I'll talk to you all on the next one.
Bye.
Bye.